Tonight, we're tracking rain to the north of us, and we could get a bit of sleet and snow here.
Yeah, let's go to CBS 2 meteorologist Amber Lee. She's live with what's happening right now. Good evening, Amber.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Rachel. So we've been watching this weakening cold front as it presses through the area, and you can see a lot of it has fizzled out, but we're still dealing with some moisture to the north of us, especially over our high desert communities. So a lot of our lower elevations probably won't see any of this moisture at all. If we do see anything, probably just some sprinkles. But you can see that we are dealing with some sleet in some areas as that rain is turning into sleet and then possibly even into snow as we head into the next few hours. Right now over Wrightwood, we do have some rain, and then we also have some rain just to the north of Victorville, headed toward the Barstow area. I'll let you know what's in store for the rest of Sunday.
All right, Amber, we'll see you then. Well, that big storm this past week brought high surf to Orange County beaches. And tonight, residents, well, they're dealing with some beach erosion.
Now, there's also some property damage and a park closure.
CBS 2 Adrianna Weingold, she shows us the damage.
It looks like an earthquake happened.
Palm trees and light posts hanging on their sides. The boardwalk and sidewalk gone. Crumbled into the ocean after last week's storm brought big surf to Capistrano Beach.
Good thing I wasn't standing on it when it collapsed. I was on it, must have been an hour, 2 hours before it happened.
James Gilbert has lived in the area for 30 years and says the erosion is getting worse and fast. This whole area is now roped off and the parking lot is closed. OC Parks fears the basketball court could be the next to go into the ocean.
It's just unstable right now to be walking through right now and being around there. Who knows, like by tonight it might be wiped out.
Pictures of the damage have been popping up on social media as the community is saddened by the loss. Neighbors say there used to be several volleyball courts farther up the beach, but those eroded years ago.
It's going to get worse. You can't stop it. I mean, you can put boulders and rocks in, but sooner or later.
OC Parks says the area is prone to erosion and they're working on stabilizing what's left. They'll have engineers out here next week to take a look. But until those engineers come up with a plan to make it safe, you're asked to stay away. In Dana Point, Adrianna Weingold, CBS 2 News.
We have some breaking news now. The LAPD needs help finding these two men, persons of interest in more than a dozen armed robberies.
Yeah, the robberies happened over the last month all over Los Angeles. People had their wallets, jewelry, and cell phones stolen.
Now to the passing of a president.
Former President George H.W. Bush is being praised by world leaders, also U.S. lawmakers, for his accomplishments and his graciousness.
Tonight, the flag over the White House is flying at half-staff and will stay that way for 30 days as a tribute to President Bush. So will the flag outside the U.S. Capitol. As Vice President, Mr. Bush presided over the Senate for 8 years.
And in Houston today, wreaths were placed on the gates of Bush's home. Mr. Bush was 94 years old.
Now to CBS 2's Christy Fajardo. And Christy, you talked to a Southern California man who once worked closely with the former president.
Yeah, that's right. As you can well imagine, as president, he had teams all over the country, including right here in Los Angeles. Now a publicist is honoring the man he worked with. President George H.W. Bush was more likely to stand in front of red carpets in Washington than walk down them in Hollywood. But to many in Tinseltown, he was a friend. And to publicist Roger Neal, he was once also a boss.
He would know your first name. You didn't have to remind him who you were. He just knew your name.
Neal met the late Mr. Bush on Inauguration Day and throughout his administration arranged press and events for the president in Southern California. One of his favorite memories was at a welcome home concert for the troops returning from Desert Storm. He says he watched as the president summoned an aide with a bag.
And I thought, wow, something's great's going to come out of the bag. And the president reached down with both hands and pulled out 2 handfuls of chocolates and stuffed them in his jacket pocket because he was going to be seated for 2 hours and he wanted to keep his energy up.
Neal says the 41st president met his equal in his wife, Barbara. He says even after decades of marriage, the two couldn't take their eyes off each other.
He was always with his arm around her or touching her arm. It was just such an endearment there. You could see there was a lot of love there.
Neal says there's one more thing people don't know about his former boss. He says he was tough, but also tender, and always teared up when he spoke of his daughter who died of leukemia in 1953, just before her 4th birthday. Chris?
All right, Christy, thank you for that. Well, today, visitors at the Reagan Presidential Library in Simi Valley, they honored Bush's legacy. Before he was president, George Bush served as Ronald Reagan's VP for 8 years. People, They also remembered Bush as an activist after office, raising money for those in need all over the world.
I don't think there's many men left like him. And I think he serves as a really good example for my kids, certainly, and for the future.
And many guests paused to sign a book of condolences, which will be sent to the Bush family.
Here's what we know tonight about the funeral plans. President Trump is sending Air Force One to Houston to bring President Bush's body to Washington, D.C. President Bush will lie in state in the Capitol Rotunda from Monday evening through Wednesday morning. Wednesday has been declared a national day of mourning. All federal offices and the stock markets will be closed. And at 11 a.m., a memorial will be held at the National Cathedral. On Thursday, President Bush's body will then be flown back to Houston for a second memorial. Following that service, he'll be buried on the grounds of his presidential library at Texas A&M University next to his wife and their young daughter. Our coverage of the passing of the president will continue throughout this weekend here on CBS 2 and CBSLA.com.
Well, a South Bay cold case has been solved after 23 years, and a family says 2 retired police officers are the reason. Elliot Lanui shot and killed Ted Emery in a Redondo Beach parking lot after robbing him. That was 23 years ago. The brutal crime, it happened in 1995, and the case, well, it went cold for years. Then retired police officers John Skipper and Rick Peterson, they began to work on it. They spent 6 years linking DNA evidence.
They worked on it for 6 years and were there every day at court. Superheroes. They are.
Yeah, superheroes for sure. And Lanui has been convicted. He's set to be sentenced on December 11th.
Astrophysicist and TV host Neil deGrasse Tyson has responded to accusations of sexual misconduct. Yesterday, Fox and National Geographic Networks confirmed that they are looking into claims published in Pathos.com, where one woman claimed deGrasse Tyson groped her. Another, a former assistant, claimed he repeatedly made sexual advances. And one woman claims he drugged and raped her in the 1980s. Today, deGrasse Tyson responded with a detailed post on Facebook. It gives his account of each accusation point by point. He defends himself and says he welcomes the investigations.
A deadly line of tornadoes tore across the Plain States. Take a look.
Oh my gosh.
In Aurora, Missouri, one person was killed when a twister hit a motel. And take a look at this in Lake Tenkiller, Oklahoma. Dozens of homes and buildings destroyed. Rescue crews had to cut their way through debris to reach victims in the hardest hit areas.
Strong aftershocks from Alaska's 7.0 earthquake continue tonight. The U.S. Geological Survey says there have been at least 545 aftershocks, including a 5.7 shaker. Tonight, we're told quake damage is preventing the Alaska Railroad from operating between the state's 2 largest cities, Anchorage and Fairbanks. Also, the feds are releasing $5 million in emergency money to help road and bridge repairs.
Yeah, and after watching that video, it's amazing no one was hurt.
Absolutely.
Amazing. All right, so coming up, how much are you willing to pay for that perfect Christmas tree?
Well, brace yourself for sticker shock if you're looking for the real deal this holiday season. The story straight ahead.
Plus, why protesters are calling for the release of Billy the elephant at the LA Zoo.
And a marriage proposal gone wrong. Why police were called in. Amber?
And cold weather continues through Sunday, but tonight there is a chance we could see rain and snow, especially in the higher elevations. I will break it down for you.